Hello, my fellow Lycans, newcomers, and passerbys. I am sorry that it took so long for this video to come out. Um, I was trying to figure out how the best way to actually do these videos is, and how to try to drag out more videos within each update and patch notes. Even though this is a big update, sometimes we get small updates, and going through the patch notes can be really hard. I only have one computer screen, I don't have two, so it's really hard to read off one or the other. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to literally read out the update notes, and then in another video I'll actually go through each individual update that I think is very important to show off, and I'll make videos out of those. And that is exactly what I think I'm going to do, not only for Grounded here, but also for Scum and other videos. So that way I can go into more in detail and actually study and figure out these things. Um, but anyways, let's go ahead and go through this Grounded September update. And we are going to start with the new features. So we have this is already out, by the way. This is like long been out. So if you guys have not updated your game to get back into it, get back into it now, please. Because you are missing out on a lot. So the hedge update has been, or the hedge itself has been revamped completely. There is like fallen leaves everywhere. There's new science buildings. There's new types of spiders, and there's also a lot of, what do you call them, Tase teas. If you guys don't know what those are those little robots that you find when you go find Burgle, and it's that little robot that attacks you. So there's also three new building types. There's zipline, spinning wheel, and signs. Yes, many different types of signs, by the way. And the ziplines, mwah, amazing. And the spinning wheel is just another construction type building. You will be processing webs into web fibers, like string, web rope, I guess you'd call it. So we also have a new world landmarks, the Franken line, which is like an etch a sketch, and I'll show all that off. That's gonna be really fun to show off. New Halloween additions, jack o' lantern landmark, and candy corn food items. So the jack o' lantern landmark is literally a giant jack o' lantern, and it's on the porch, and it looks pretty cool. And the candy corn food items, I think, replace the hot dog items, like the little food bits. But I don't know exactly what they do, but they are pretty cool. You can eat them, of course. Localization for new French, German, Spanish, and Italian, so languages, and new spider webs that stick to unsuspecting players and critters. So the spider webs actually stick to you now. They don't just they aren't just there. So if you walk through them, or if you get shot by a spider web, the spiders that shoot you. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that, but I will show you how that all works out. But if you do, you're going to get a little sticky. And it can also work on critters too, which might play a huge part in future updates. So they also have UE4, Unreal Engine 4 version has been upgraded. The combat of ant soldiers, tasties, um, stink bugs, bombardier beetles, basically a lot of the creatures out there are now increased. And they also have new sets of attacks. Also, tasties are found in the hedge as well as where you first discover Burgle. So there's a lot more of them in the world now. That should be fun to mess around with, right? Also, all weapons have had their damage and stamina costs and durability adjusted to fit a stricter tier based curve. So that's going to be really cool. So, meaning that if you build a higher tier item, it's going to be a lot better than lower tier items, period. The curve, you gotta stay with the curve. Um, we also have the fresh defense perk. That is the perk that you get, and it basically allows gas to basically not hurt you. Um, well, it hurts you, but less slowly. You take less damage from it, and same with burning. It fresh defense perk now blocks twice as much gas and burning damage, so that's pretty cool. Reliable friend perk, which allows this is a multiplayer thing, so if you don't play multiplayer, then it doesn't really concern you. But if you do play multiplayer, then we are talking about the ability to revive your friends faster, and that's been doubled. Doubled. for all of you that do care about that out there. Trying out new combat AI to reduce the effectiveness of circle strafing. So they are trying to make it harder for you to actually walk around a bug in a circle and just hit them. They want you to use that defense. They want you to defend yourself. They don't want you just going in there and willy nilly just walking around a bug and just hitting it. No, they don't want that. So new interface changes. Processing buildings such as campfires now show the progress of each item in the interface and allow items to be canceled. The recycle building interface now shows how many structures will collapse if the target building is recycled. So if you have three buildings in the sky and you have one building holding all three of those buildings up and you decide to recycle that bottom building, it's going to show you that the three buildings on top will be recycled as well. Also, which is actually really, really cool here. Um, it doesn't show it. I don't think it shows it in this. Let me read. Blah 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 blah. No, I don't think it shows it in this. But when you build items now, you can. It's a lot easier to actually put them in the side of walls and in objects now, so that way you can have a cleaner build. Let's see. We also have additional icon art. The interactive UI will no longer briefly appear enabled when looking at disabled interaction. Clearer labeling of game modes. Game no longer asks to overwrite a save if you're not able to currently save the game. So got all that cool stuff. New world stuff. So new perks to discover and unlock. New scabs to find. The scabs are those little wristwatch things that change the color of your menu, I guess. Stumps left behind no longer prevent foliage from respawning. Be careful with this though, because grass will not respawn if the stump is removed. Do not remove your stumps if you don't plan on clearing that area to never ever be able to regrow again. So yeah, that's not going to be fun. I don't know why they even add that to the game, but whatever. Ants now have a desire to take back their stolen eggs, and eggs can now hatch even after being moved by the player. And ant eggs no longer stack in the inventory. So when it concerns the ant eggs, so basically that means you can take them, you can build a little hut, and you can throw those ant eggs in the hut, and they will hatch within that hut. They will try to get out, of course, when they grow up, but they will be in that hut. And yeah, so pretty cool stuff. Larva wandering range is now much smaller during the day. Mushrooms in the world now take much longer to grow back, so no more just going out and grabbing the mushroom outside your house every 5 seconds. Or I know they don't spawn in 5 seconds, but they spawn pretty darn fast. Scabs that have been moved since prior patches will reflect those moves in older saves. Mint chunks in the mint container should no longer spawn on top of the container. I never had that happen, but apparently that happens. Juice boxes stop spawning juice if a droplet spawned by them is still sitting in the world. I kind of liked them being able to spawn, but I guess that's pretty bad on your CPU, so because they do jiggle. Removed the brood mother from the hedge. For now, it is removed. Yes, the brood mother, the giant in the hedge on the giant frisbee disc. Yeah, it is removed for now. I'm pretty sure they're gonna make it a lot scarier. Added harvest VFX to hedgeberry. So buildings, this is what I was talking about with the structures. Structural buildings are now fully allowed to overlap with any static environment objects, so you can build a treehouse in the tree for real. Blueprint buildings in the air cannot be completed unless a supporting building has been completed. Buildings can no longer be built inside of tables. Buildings can be placed more easily in the pond flagstone now. Mushroom garden spawn timers now start the building. Yeah, it will now start when the building is built instead of when it is placed. So if you place a mushroom garden spawner, the thing underneath has to be finished building before they spawn mushrooms. Smoke from torches, wall scones, and campfires should now rarely penetrate floors and ceilings. Plank log storage deposits sound effects now play on clients. The player would no longer play canteen animations when building a water container within the canteen in hand. And clay foundations, okay, this is actually really cool. Clay foundations now have double the health, but not as much as pebble foundations. Pebble foundations now have less health, but still more than clay. Crafting. So most recipes that require spider webs have been refracted to use a processed spider web obtainable via the new spinning wheel. That's what I was talking about, the spinning wheel thing. So performance, so improved CPU performance for large bases. All you people with not so great CPUs in your computers or low grade computers, be happy because that's for you. Additional water caustic effects. Bird feathers now float in the water. So weed stems also flow in the water. A lot of things float in the water now. which is pretty cool. The drop control can now be rebound. The swim up and swim down control bindings are allowed to overlap each other as well. So bug fixes on all the platforms, which I went down a little too far. Uh, Free buildings attached to the player built structures will no longer become out of position for clients. The game will no longer crash in some specific cases when demolishing a plank or a log storage building. Sorry about those dogs. Ants will no longer spawn in excessively large quantities. So, the Alchemist Burgle quest will complete when accepted if the player has already analyzed the target item. Kill-based perks now only track kills on enemies, and filled issues with the encounters of respawning creatures if they fell through the world in a prior save. Hiding interact prompt E or X when looking at a locked or stuck door. Item, equipment, resources, buried chunks will no longer inflate themselves when they are subjected to a strong impact. Traps can no longer be triggered for a few seconds after destruction. Traps can no longer be triggered by a third-person camera. Trapper juice droplets should now correctly spawn from the straw on the juice box instead of from the base. Bombarded head trophies should now be much easier to place. World. Building ingredients will no longer remain floating in the air when large structures collapse while no player is nearby. Got rid of a small bump in collision while walking up and down player-built stairs. Yeah, that happened to me a lot. Bombarded Beetle now plays a sleep animation while sleeping instead of playing a stunned animation. So there's a few more stuff right here. So the UI, various camera animations adjusted were made to reduce camera clipping onto objects and player bodies. Hiding interact prompt E or X when looking at a locked or stuck door. Audio. Buildings no longer create noise events immediately after loading a saved game. Chatter audio is now attached to the player character and and should sound better than when moving. Ominous practical technologies. Removed means redacted and added means redacted. Okay, so that's about it for everything right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm going to do more videos on these separate chapters, the ones that I think that are very important that I would like to really show you guys. Um, I'll- Mainly these new features right here. Other than that, you guys enjoy your day, and I'm out.